Right, now I'm about to cut out the strands for a 8-foot 16 plait bullwhip. So while I'm doing that, I'll show you how I cut out my strands and prepare them for plaiting. Now the tool to use is this tool here. This is what I use to cut the strands out with. It's called an Aussie strander. You can buy these from a Tandy leather goods store. I think they're about 20 bucks. Ideal for cutting strands, whether you're making whips or if you just want to cut your own strands for just for fancy work, for leather work. So the hide, this hide, I'm going to need about 180 feet of lace. This hide is 0.45 of a metre, so I'll need about 1.5 of these. And the first thing to do is to trim the hide up. You can see all these rough edges around the edges. There we go. Now what I'll do is trim this hide up, and what I do that with is a pair of scissors. They're called Mundile. On one edge they have a serrated edge. You can see that in there. The other edge is just a straight blade. They're very sharp. You can buy these off the internet. Just Google Mundile, M-U-N-D-I-A-L, and these are 8-inch pairs. Very good. I think they cost about 40 bucks, but look, they'll last you a lifetime. Now we just cut around the edges. Just trim off all the sharp corners so we've got one smooth run around the hide. Any of this leather that you've cut off, you should put it aside, because you might find a use for it for short strands or little pieces for wristbands. A piece like this, which is the neck. Some of this you could use for making little coin purses, inlays in your leather work, all sorts of things. Just keep going round there until you come back to the beginning. Right, now I want these strands to be 6 millimetres wide in the end. So what I'll do is cut the strands at about 8 millimetres, and then by the time I've stretched them and beveled them, I'll be down to 6. These cutters come with this blade. You can also buy these blades from Tandy. They're a Schick injector blade, very sharp. Once that piece gets blunt there, all you've got to do is undo that screw and move your blade down, and you've got another piece of blade. So they're very economical as well. Now the way to cut with this is it goes on your forefinger, like so, and you just slide it through the leather like so. See? And that's all you do. Just go round and round your hide until there's nothing left. And I'll get it in close on that. The key to this is not to hesitate. Now a lot of people get a bit hesitant when they're using a tool like this and they start to get a bit jerky. This time just slides through there nice and easy. Look. Like so. Nice smooth action. See that? Round and round your hide. Now I'll just carry on with this, and when I've cut it out I'll show you what else we do to it. Now as you progress through cutting your hide, you'll come to corners like this in your hide. Now you don't want to have your corners too sharp when you're cutting around them, because they'll leave a kink in your lace. So what you can do is just round that off gently. So it's a nice, smooth, even curve. This is just a knife with a snap-off blade. I use these because you don't have to resharpen them. You can see here's another fairly sharp corner there. I'll just round it off. Same up the top here at the neck. Just round that off. And then we'll just continue cutting. Eventually you're going to come to a point in cutting your hide up where you've got a small piece like this left. Now if you're cutting smaller lace than I am, which most of you, if you're going to use lace for leather projects like lacing up the edge of bags and things like that, the lace will be a lot smaller than this. You're sort of looking at the 4 and 5 millimetre size, maybe even less. And then you can cut a lot further down into your hide because you can get around these corners a lot easier. But this, because these strands are wider, I'll stop here. But what I'll do is cut some small lace out of this, and the way to do this is to roughly find the middle of your piece of leather and punch a hole in the middle. Now I've got holes in my bench that I can screw a screw into. No, it's not going to work there. It's a bit out of range there. I'll just move the camera around a smidgen so you can see it. There you go. Throw a screw in there so that it swings around nice and steady. Stick your knife in there, like so, and just pull that around. So you've got to go a little bit smaller. Yeah. Right, now you've got a nice little circle, and I'll cut some thin lace out of that. I'll just move this in. And I'll use this later on, but perhaps a knot or something like that. So all you've got to do is pull it there. I can use this for a flat plait on a wrist strap on a bullwhip or something like that. A lot of you, if you're doing handbags or wallets, you won't want your lace much thicker than this. And you just keep on going here until you get right to the end, right to the middle. And it's gone a bit thin, but that's got the general idea. So you're not wasting any leather. Again, you can use that for a little coin purse or something like that. Now we'll go to stretching the leather. To stretch my lace, all I do is I've got a hook here that's screwed into a post in my shed. And it's got to be a solid post or a solid surface like a wall or something like that. This is a very large, I think they use these for clotheslines or something. Anyway, large hook. Take your lace, wrap it around once like so, and you pull from this end, and then just pull. Exert a fair bit of pressure on it, and that will take the stretch out of it. And the other thing about this is that if your lace is going to break, it's going to break now. So that it's not going to break while you're plaiting something. And not that that's a real big problem. And that's all you do all the way through the whole length of your lace. Just keep stretching it like that. You might find after a while, for this hand, it's a good idea to wear a glove, because it does tend to wear the skin away. Right, so I'll just do this. And this, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but this is kangaroo hide. So it's very strong. That's how we go, all the way through. Okay. The next step from this is to resize it back down to the size that I want, and then I'll bevel it. And then I'll put it through the splitter. Now this is the tool I'm going to use for resizing the leather, my lace. My final lace I want is 6mm, so I'm going to cut this down to about 7mm, and then I'll take a 1/2 millimetre off each side when I do the bevelling. So I'll just size this out to 7mm. Close enough. Now you can make this same tool the same way that I showed you how to make the beveler. Instead of putting the blade in at 60 degrees, you put it in at 90 degrees. Now when you cut your lace and you stretched it, you'll still have a curve in it, like this. You can see that curve. Now the idea is to cut any excess off the outside of that curve, and that helps straighten up the lace. And all it is just run it through the blade like that. That blade needs to be moved down a bit. And that's, just check that. Oh, that's a little, oh no. Yeah, that's 7.36. That looks okay to me. You see, so that's, that came down from 8mm down to what it is now. But of course, what you've lost in width, you've gained in length by stretching it. Right, that's all that is. So if we get a bit closer. Of course, when you're working with these tools, always be careful that you do not drag your thumb or finger or whatever through these blades, because they are very, very sharp and they can do you a bit of damage. And when you get a cut on the end of your thumb, right in there like that, it hurts and it becomes quite bothersome, because there's no doubt as soon as you do something you're going to hit that cut and cause yourself more pain. So be careful. Right, I'll just cut the whole of this lace now, and then I'll show you how I bevel it.